Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? This is Easy Things to Draw. Today we're going to go over how to draw Majin Buu, the final form, the evil form, the bad Buu. I'm going to be using a colored pencil. I'm going to use it for two things. One, to get the general layout of it, and then I'm also going to use it as a kind of final coloring. And I'm also going to be using this brush pen. This is a brush, I don't know if you can see it. It says Pigma brush. You can find these in almost any art store. Take a look at it. I'm sure you've seen this design before. But once you pull it out, it's a brush tip on it. It's really cool. Love it. Anyways, let's start the head. We'll start we'll do the upper head and shoulders for Buu. I'm gonna have to move his head a little bit downward because he's got that thing coming up the top of his head. So right now I'm essentially starting with what I always do with the head. So I start with a circle. And not forgetting the back of the skull over here, which a lot of people do forget. Pull down the neck. Hopefully you can see that. I'm actually going to do this on the same sheet of paper this time. Let's see if I'm focused. Yeah, I am focused. And I'm trying to figure out how big I want this upper thing coming out of his head. He's basically like a big ball of gum formed into a human. Actually, I didn't really like his last form very much compared to some of his other forms. I might draw one of his other forms. I don't like Fat Buu very much. I'm not a big fan of that design, the fat guy. I mean, I guess he does look cute-ish, but I was never a big fan of the good Majin Buu. I liked all his bad forms. Evil stuff just looks really cool to me. And actually, my honest opinion is I liked when Buu swallowed Piccolo. I thought he looked pretty cool, even though it was only like, what, for a minute? He was that form. It really wasn't that form at all. He's got a huge brow line. And he's got no nose whatsoever. If you want, you can do that kind of pissed off look he has. Gonna go down here. Drawing his jaw. If you look at Dragon Ball characters, almost all of them, from what I keep seeing, they have this kind of 5-point structure to their face, kind of a, and I'll draw it over here in this corner. Like if he's looking that way, they tend to hit a lot of these points. There's the cheekbone, down, and then there's the bottom of the chin. But that's with everything. It's kind of the pointiness of their chin sometimes, depending on what angle. Other side, and then other cheekbone. And it kind of has this kind of home plate look to a lot of characters within DBZ. Some of them will flatten out the chin, depending on what artist. Same thing, I mean, they also use different animators, so that's a thing. If you remember that, you ever watch an episode of Dragon Ball and this happens in other animes as well. Like the episode will look amazing, right? It's animated freaking awesome, and then like the next episode will be animated like it was season 1, or like the start or Dragon Ball. The original, it'll be animated kind of like crap or worse, and you're kind of like, what? Why is it animated so bad all of a sudden? Because they had different teams working on it. I think they had like, what, 3 or 4? Something like that. Let me tell you really quick on, I'm going to start with a brush tip, and I'm going to go right in with the eyes. Sorry, I had to interrupt myself. Right in the eyes. God, this feels so good too, this kind of brush tip. Be careful with it though, because you can push it down really hard. Gonna go around, big brow. I was gonna say something. Oh yeah, we're talking about like the animation team thing. I remember my big, one of the big things that really, the only time that ever made me mad was during the, oh yeah, putting the eye there. Remember the entire inner part of his eye is black. I dig his general color scheme too. It's really cool. The pink thing, but he's evil, black eyes kind of thing. I like it. What was I saying? There was an episode actually. Oh, okay, I remember now. I remember it was around the Cell Saga, and what happened in the Cell Saga was that I guess I forgot what happened. Oh, Trunks ended up going back to his own timeline. You know, future Trunks. He went back to his own timeline, and I remember it was a big deal, right? He's gonna go back. He's stronger than all the two androids that terrorized the other reality. You know, 17 and 18, the other versions. And he went back and basically whooped their ass, you know, because he's all powerful now. Because he became Super Saiyan, you know, he became way more powerful. It's like going back and playing high school football when you're 25 or something. Like he just went back and beat everybody up. The problem with that was that was the animation time where the animation on that episode really sucked, as I recall. I really didn't like it, and that really upset me, right? Because it was such a pivotal episode. You know, it really bothered me a lot. No. I also haven't seen the Battle of the Gods yet. I want to see that. I have that on my hard drive, I think. Somebody lent it to me. I gotta see that. I haven't seen it yet. I hope they make more movies. That'd be cool. I heard this one's actually in continuity, too, because I think almost every movie was out of continuity, I think. Like, there's no way it could have happened because the timelines wouldn't have matched up. At least the regular movies. I don't know what the OVA movies. Anyways, as you can guess, I was kind of a nerd with that show. It was the first show that got me into anime, you know, the first show that actually made me think, like, hey, anime's pretty cool. Like, that's where it kind of started. He doesn't really have much of a cheekbone. Sometimes he does, but I'm going to just pull straight down. Being careful with my lines. Trying not to push it down too hard, but just, you know, but also not too light. He could have a smaller face as well, but I'm going to keep it as is. My smaller face meaning I could pull that chin up, but I don't want to. Pull across. Looks a little friendly now, actually. Below the chin there. I remember while I'm drawing this, I'll talk a little bit more about my Dragon Ball experience. And I might have talked about this in the other video, so forgive me because this is just such a big issue for me. I remember when I was in high school, all we would talk about was a Dragon Ball movie, right? That's all we would talk about. We're like, man, this is going to happen. There was rumored to happen. They had been casting it and stuff like that. And I remember it took, 10 years for that movie to come out. And it came out, and whoever saw it, and I'm sure almost every person that's ever seen Dragon Ball, the cartoon, knows what happened with a movie, at least the American movie, right? It was like the worst, you know, piece of crap I had ever seen in my life. It was so angering, you know, because I had been waiting for that thing for 10 years. And it came out, and it was just like this afterthought, horrific movie. Just nothing. Like, they didn't care like they did on the weekend. Terrible movie. Terrible movie. Everything was bad about it. Except for the only thing they got right on that movie was Chow Yun-Fat. Because a lot of people had actually cast Chow Yun-Fat as Master Roshi. Like on a lot of these Wish, you know, who should they cast? Websites, you know? And so that was the only thing I think they got right, to be honest. And I watched that movie. My sister gave it to me as kind of a semi-gag gift for my birthday, but she also gave it to me because I've never seen it, you know what I mean? I'm the kind of guy that, you know, I'm very curious to see these things, even though I heard horrific things about it. But I'll still watch the movie just to see it, you know? I'm just curious, like, how bad is this thing? And it was really bad. And, yeah. But she gave me the DVD, and on the DVD they have these cut scenes on it, extra scenes, and the extra scenes were actually funnier than anything in the movie, I remember. And I was like, why don't they just throw these cut scenes in there? It might have been kind of funny, like, for that brief moment. Let me actually pull that up, his traps up a little bit more. I'm going to pull that up. I also got a lot of my aesthetics, I think, from this show. This show really affected me a lot, because it was like one of my first kind of saga cartoons that I would just watch on a regular basis. One thing I mean by aesthetics is I really like drawing muscular dudes. Like, it's cool, you know, like superhero style-esque dudes, and I really think this is the first place I saw it. You know, a lot of like these cool muscle shapes in the neck and stuff like that. I really got it from my liking of it from this show. So, you know, I kind of credit the show a lot, you know, for that. Let me look at it from far away a little bit. Hold on. I mean, it's cool-ish. I mean, it works. It does the job. I gotta throw in some details, like around his eyes here, to show the changing of the form a little bit. Little dashes around the eyes. I want to throw in a few more dashes, just small ones, because I can do that with a brush tip here. It adds dimension when you throw little nicks like that. It adds little smaller details. I guess when the eye is looking at larger lines and can, you know, kind of see the peripheral smaller secondary little lines, it tends to, I don't know, kind of read that as complexity, you know, and it looks kind of like you know what you're doing. You know, which you should be, right, ideally. But, you know, a lot of times I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of guessing. And, I mean, trying to figure, sometimes, you know, you're just like, is that going to work? Does it work? You know what I mean? You're kind of thinking like that. Like, could that work? So, let's start the coloring on this thing. Let me sharpen this pencil. Cool. I'm going to do something very similar to the other one, where I'm going to leave a large white line over here as if it's reflecting. Not reflecting, but large white line, like it's getting some sort of a light source. I'm not going to color Boo the way Boo's colored in the animation. I'm going to color him with the best of my abilities of what tools I have in front of me, because my tools are very limited. And I think that's a big part of doing commissions and things like that. You're working on stuff with whatever tools that you have or can afford. You know, it doesn't have to be a part of it, but, you know, it can be. But you're doing this with how hard you can push down on it, right? I'm pushing down really hard toward the edge, and then I'm lightening it up as I get toward the middle. I mean, obviously this is something I'm going to have to reevaluate as I'm doing it, and even after, I'm going to kind of have to reevaluate. That's just part of the game. But, yeah, as I'm coloring, let me think about something else. Dragon Ball related. Oh, yeah, anywho, back on the movie. I think what I don't know what was up with Goku in the monkey form. That was really terrible. Every aspect of that movie was terrible, except for Giant Fat. I would say, and I think I've heard this, but, you know, this is all over the internet, right? The only way they can do Dragon Ball movies is to do it CG, kind of like Final Fantasy Advent Children. That's really the only way they can do it, you know? Because I'm not interested in seeing CG people fly around like that Superman movie. That's fine. I get it. They did it for Superman. That's cool. But I want an entirely CG character. I don't want to see a white Goku. That's just me. So that's just, you know, this is my nerd's wish list, and they really, really need to reboot that movie. And it really bugs me when people are like, they don't need to, you know, because they don't really, you know. And now I'm really okay. Now I'm really talking like a nerd. Okay, I'm gonna get into like nerd anger here. So I'm sorry. I hope that doesn't change your mind about me. But I really hate when somebody that's not even interested in that property says, oh, they don't need to make another one. Of course you don't want another one because you don't care, because you don't even like the property. But I'm talking about, you know what I mean? I'm fair too. Like, even properties I don't like, I'll be like, yeah, they should probably make another one to really please the overall fan base, you know? That would be the purpose of this. It would be to please the fan base that exists. And I still think a big fan base exists for this show. Anyways, that's it for the nerd talk. That was too nerdy for me. I could also pull this kind of thing, you know, where, you know, there are views where there's a lot of light on Boo. And you could make that light source kind of something. But I don't want to do that. I'm going to color. We'll see. We'll see where I go with it. I think I'm just going to throw a light, at least, the very least, a light layer over the whole thing. What else? I think when it comes to bad guys of the TV, at least the Z era, in terms of their just pure design, just their design. Of the three, there's only three bad guys, right? Three big bad guys of the big baddies. There's Frieza, Cell, and Boo of the saga, the big baddies. I think I like Cell's design the most. I don't know why, I just liked it. That kind of cockroach looking there. What is that? Like a beetle or bug person. I really, you know, his outfit looked kind of. I love Cell. Cell's such an awesome character. I love his design. And then Boo. And then I hated Frieza's design. At least his final design, I did not like it. I didn't like his first, I think, his first form either. I kind of liked some of his middle forms. They were pretty cool. I just didn't get the whole, you know, lipstick thing going on, like, you know, ambiguous. I guess he's kind of has an androgynous, I guess his sexuality was androgynous? I know there's a reason, I'm sure. But I just kind of didn't, it wasn't my thing, you know, it's fine. But I just didn't dig that. And then, out of like, I would say all of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, the movies, the OVAs, everything, I would say in terms of their design, I really liked, my favorite bad guy design at least, was Janemba from one of the final movies, I think, or the second to last movie. Or now it's like the third to last movie because they made a new one, right? I think the last movie on Z, at least from previously before. Let me sharpen my pencil again. Pretty sure that was my favorite design. I like that bad guy a lot. I don't know why. I know, and he was very similar to Boo too. He's basically like a Boo ripoff, I guess, right? He was like, he had this fat form. Although he was like a really dumb fat baby thing. And then he turned into this like badass. But I thought he was cool. We're talking about good guys. What good guys I liked? I really liked Piccolo. And I was really sad when they kind of moved him back. You know, he kind of became like the Knuckles of the series. Like, not really, actually. He was kind of like the Knuckles, right? And then Vegeta showed up, and Vegeta was like the Shadow. You know what I mean? To compare it to the Sonic world. And then it was always Shadow. It's like, man, come on. I want to see Knuckles again. That's kind of the way I thought of Piccolo, kind of. Like, he was always around. I guess Knuckles is around still. I don't know, but Piccolo was always around. Then when Vegeta showed up, he was just like, I guess, just a more interesting character. You know, his character was a little more interesting because you know he's like he's kind of still bad. Piccolo became too nice. He was too honorable. And they definitely, you know, the way he finally went out. You know what I mean? I was like, man, come on. I'm not gonna spoil it. Well, I don't think it's a spoiler, right? But when he, you know, pretty much everybody died. When he died in GT, I was like, man, what is this? What is this? Why did they do that? Okay, so the way I'm thinking about this is kind of like an egg. I'm trying to make the darkest forms toward the bottom here. You know what I mean? Kind of like when a light hits an egg. Usually the lightest part is toward the top. So light source is coming right up in his face, you know? And I think that's kind of a good thing to like leave it as is, because it is getting a lot of light source. And I know he has red eyes. I don't have a red colored pencil with me at this moment, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push really hard on his eye, like really hard. Well, it's as hard as I can without snapping this thing. Alrighty. Anyways, I think that's about it. I can finesse it a little bit more, you know, but I am leaving this like the lightest lights in this area and right here in the top. I guess there are some lights, you know, kind of right here. I think it's a quick way to kind of get a decent read, and it's kind of like a trick to leave this line over here. Makes it look a little cooler than, you know, than it would have if not, you know, leaving this little line of light. Anyways, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. Let me go over the tools one last time. I only used this colored pencil. It's Blush Pink. It's a Rose Art brand. I don't like those colored pencils. Get a better one, but it's pink. And this brush pen, the Pigma brush pen. And this is like in every art store I've seen. Brush tip. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you soon. If you like the video, please like it. I'm going to do more of these this week, and see you later.
Fly.